Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is the second time recording this video, but I did it as a should Zeldris be buffed and a should you summon video, and I'm gonna have to split them up into two because I ended up rambling. So I'm gonna be posting my should you summon video later tonight, like an hour or two before maintenance is done. Or started or something around there, so make sure to stay tuned for that. This video is probably going to be coming out earlier. My upload schedule is probably going to be earlier because America is starting school, so yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the schedule change. But basically the video today is going to be should Zeldris get a buff, because as far as I can see, 90% of people are very underwhelmed with these Zeldris. He's not a bad unit, but like, for being the most hyped form of Zeldris, in my opinion, like, you could argue that Demon King Zeldris is more hyped, but like, I think that form looks very stupid, and I don't think it wasn't there that long, I guess. I don't know, it just doesn't look that good compared to the ominous Nebula form. I think it just looks better, it's cooler. He bodies base Escanor, Margaret, and Merlin, I think. Doesn't really body them, but like, he's beating them until Escanor, goes unga bunga. And then when you get to this, Zeldris just like, like, he's basically just green Zeldris, but slightly worse, especially because Zeldris should get a holy relic. And I think that he could definitely do with a buff. Now, I hope that if they do buff him, which I absolutely doubt, I hope he just becomes his own DPS. I don't think we need an SS support unit. Esteros is already cracked. He just needs a unit that doesn't allow you to get attacks to the entire game, to be honest. Because I think those are his only flaws. He can get attack shield, and he's fairly squishy, which this Zeldris doesn't help at all. Bond, he got Arthur. Arthur makes it so that way you have a really good tank, and he depletes ultimate gauge, so that way if somebody attacks into you, they can't like ult rush as well. Really good support. If this Zeldris was to get an AoE counter with either a passive like green Sariel's on the stance card, or like Arthur's, but obviously that's a stance, not a counter, I think it would be fine. It would be really good, because those are the two best counters in the game, in my opinion. The third would probably be Chandler's. Number one taunt is probably Sariel's, then Chandler's, and then obviously like the best stance in the game, in my opinion, is Arthur's, because you just can't ult rush into it, and it's really annoying with this kit. The other card obviously would, I think the Infect is fine. I think the Infect is fine. Maybe buff AoE Infect, like the damage, not the turns. I think one turn and 2 turn Infect is more than plenty. This thing is also pretty damn unimpressive. Maybe buff it up like 30%, just a little bit, because I mean, if he eventually does, because he does have an attack stat buff, and people run him on HP defense, because yeah, that's why their ultimate doesn't do that much, I assume, because they run him in HP defense. I'd use him in ungeared, and he performed fairly well. I never got his ultimate though, so. But I generally think he deserves a buff, because he's such a hype character for a lot of people. I don't really have a preference, but I know that for the health of the game, I think that making really hype characters, they should be really good. I think that they dropped this Zeldris just a bit too early. They should have delayed him to at least when Festival Gotha dropped last year, which I think was, when was it? 1 second. Game news. That's the wrong thing. I never clicked past banners. There's Sariel, Gother, and go all the way down. Gother was September, so literally in about 1 month-ish, 1.5 months, I think, is when it would have been a fair time to drop this Zeldris. They didn't make him a fast and absolutely broken because of what happened last year with Margaret and then Cusack dropping the very next banner. So they decided to not do that, but just make a unit that should have been a fest really bad compared to an actual festival, and just keep him really hype, but made his banner really good. Like, the banner is top tier, I can't lie. I don't think that the banner is bad. I think it's a fairly fair banner, where half of it is good, half of it is okay, mediocre. The only thing I would change is obviously bump the SSR rate and the being able to pick any unit at pity. Alright, moving on back onto Zeldris. His commandment, I wish he did have one, but I understand why they didn't, because they, in the story, he doesn't have a commandment. But obviously, people wanted a commandment. I wouldn't mind if he did. I don't really care, as long as it's not a lame commandment like Green Zeldris's and Malasko's. I hate that they don't affect their unit. It doesn't make any sense. Every other commandment has affected their own unit. Like Chandler, you use a card, you lower your stats or whatever it was. The Zeldris's, I believe, if you move cards, you lose ultimate gauge, because yeah, you're supposed to, or like, and then you remove a debuff, which is really cool. I love OG Red Zeldris and Green Drool team. That was one of my favorite teams back in the day. And then the one dropped and he just obliterated everything. But yeah, like this Zeldris, like every single Zeldris has to have some sort of ult drain. And Pulverize is probably the worst one, because there's so many taunt units in the meta right now, because Esteros is just one-shotting things. So a lot of people are going to bring a taunt unit for obvious reasons. You don't want your entire team to just be open to a encroachment, single target, Esteros to spin at any moment. So single Pulverize does good damage, but without a Festival of Goth or Holy Relic, or Diane's passive where she can rack up that damage, it's very subpar. It's very subpar. Like, even with his attack with stat going up by 12%, I think is the absolute max. It might be 16, but I'm pretty sure it's only 12. It's very mediocre in my opinion, unless you get the encroachment and the darkness, which means you are going to have to use him with Esterosa. And I don't like teams having to be used with a certain unit. That's why I like Diane. I can use her on any team. I used her on the Keo Lilia team for a while. It was great. Got bored of the Keo Lilia team. Not my favorite anymore. Used Rimuru Lilia. Pretty fun, but not as consistent. Diane with Red Tarnment on the field is pretty fun, but obviously Tarnment isn't the best unit as a DPS. He's kind of support, and Cuck's Ult Rush, but if they cleanse it away, it's unlucky. My favorite team right now is Diane, Sariel, Margaret. Really solid team, and I can run her on any team, and that's my favorite unit in the game. And I feel bad for people who think this is their favorite character in the game, because he can't be ran on any team, and it's really unfortunate. I think you should be able to run pretty much any unit on any team and still get some sort of benefit from their passive. But unfortunately, he's designed for a demon or a commandment team, and I doubt we're gonna get any good commandment units that aren't like god tier festivals. Maybe Indir or Dariarian Monspeed, but I'm not too sure. Only time will tell, obviously. And so unless this unit gets a really cracked Holy Relic within the next month or two, I don't see him really being that great. And he's a limited time banner unit, so he's probably not going to come back until New Year's or when Christmas Lilia dropped last year. I can't remember if that was a catastrophe banner or not. And yeah, I think that they just dropped this unit too soon. Like, they were like, oh shit, Esteros is way too broken. We didn't think he could do 1 million damage with the Rake 2. So we need to tone back Zeldris. Because they're going to have Ragnarok most likely at the end of the month. Gotta stay consistent with that every 2 months. If I can, so if I pull this up real here, let's see, can you see it? Yeah. Okay, so let me just slap myself up here. Boom. This is where Scotty and Elot dropped. That is the first Ragnarok unit of the year. The only one different, by the way, is Magelda was at the beginning of the month, but that's because of the collab banner, I feel like, because they wanted to have a like 1 year difference between the KOF units. But other than that, every single Ragnarok units have been at the end of the month. January we got Scotty and Elot, and then end of March we got Jormungandr, and then the Liz pushed it back 1 month. Then we got Brunhild, and then we got Freyr at the end of the month, and then I am assuming at the end of August we're going to get another Ragnarok, most likely a deer or a wolf killing unit. So I think they just made him a filler unit. That's what I feel like. Like, I don't get it. Like, what dropped this time last year? Was it that terrible Oslo and Hawk? No, okay. It was... Oh, it was Cusack. Okay, yeah, duh. It was literally Cusack. We talked about that earlier. So, I don't know. I think he 100% deserves a buff. Let me know what you guys think down below. Did I even say what I think he should have? I think I did. I think I said he should have like a stance like Sariel or Chandler. Either one is fine, but make it AoE so that way he procs the darkness, because he's obviously designed to be as a darkness unit. Or I guess just be lazy and give him a double AoE attack and then change the pulverize to 7? I guess, I don't know. Charge would be pretty cool. I saw Devo saying he might get charge AoE. I think the infect card is the best thing about him, unfortunately. His passive is okay, but it's worse than Green Zeldris's, in my opinion. It's only better if you don't have a full debuff team, but you're probably going to have a debuff team because he literally has a debuff card, slap Sariel Grace on it, and you're fine. Yeah, like his stats are really good from what I can tell. Like, I wish I could compare it at level 100, but yeah, he has really good links as well. Like, he looks like he was set up to be an absolutely cracked unit, but then they just saw Esterosa be too good and they just wanted to nerf him. I do genuinely feel bad for any Zeldris players who like came into the game for this unit, because I did see some people say that, and it's just really unfortunate. But yeah, let me know down below what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and take care. Peace.